All right. We are live. Teach me grappling. Let's see what happens, guys. Let's let some people get in here. All right, we got 10. What's up, Exodus? You're always number one. First guy in here. All right, guys. Let me start out by saying somebody got hurt in the gym today. I had a new student come in, and the gentleman, it was 42 years old, I believe, and he was a purple belt, trained at another gym in the past. He's been out for a while. Came into my gym and wanted to sign up. He signed up today, and unfortunately, he got hurt on day number one. So it's frustrating, not just from the point of view of running a business and having a student get hurt. Obviously affects it financially for the business, but it's it's unfortunate that the poor guy got hurt on his very first day. It's not something that I want my gym, to reflect that people get injured. I mean, it can happen. I feel like um, I had very good control of the class. We were doing very safe things, and it it just shit happens, and it happened. So let me just kind of break down the story a little bit. I had the guy starting out. Again, this guy's an experienced grappler. He's a purple belt for many years. He started training like in 2000, so he had experience. But we were doing a lot of clinch work. I'm going to be bringing this to you guys on video real soon. Some more clinch stuff. People always want to know like MMA stuff up against the fence, and a lot of clinch work. So we were doing that this week, and I had the guys doing some stuff against the wall, doing some takedowns a little bit, but everything controlled. Nobody's sparring. And then I was going to start with our clinch sparring, but it was literally just the pummeling drill. So a lot of you guys have probably done this. You pummel and swim, so you can swim double underhooks and try to get a body lock. And then if you get a body lock, you win. So they're not really doing takedowns. It wasn't a fall. It was just moving each other around, trying to get double underhooks. And unfortunately, I didn't get to actually see it. Everyone in the room heard it. The gentleman was going with one of my younger guys, pretty athletic. You guys know him actually as Gino. He's on a lot of our videos. And Gino was going with him, maybe pushing forward into him as best we can try to play it back with our memories. And he basically made a maneuver and freak accident. I don't know how. But the next thing you know, we heard a loud snap, and the guy's on the mat, and his patella tendon got ruptured. So his knee looked like it was in another place. It did not look like a bone was popping out, but I assume that was his tendon had snapped and it rolled up. So it looked horrible. Yes. Surgery time, John Punt. So it's really terrible. I cannot believe this happened. Again, it was a controlled drill. They were sparring, but they're sparring for double underhooks, no takedowns. Specifically, no takedowns. Just moving each other around, and obviously the maybe his knee had a problem. I don't know, a prior problem, maybe whatever. He moved a certain way, and it's unbelievable, but somehow it snapped from doing that drill. So yeah, it's just terrible. We got in the vehicle. We rushed him to the hospital. At first, I called 911 because he wanted me to, but we ended up. I kind of kept telling him like, "Hey, we can just run you to the hospital." So we got him in the backseat of my car and took him in, and me and John took him in, took care of him as best we could. Unfortunately, it was bad. It's funny. The nurse said dislocated patella, and then the doctor, the ER doctor, looked at it and said, "That's not a dislocated patella. That's a ruptured patella tendon." So anyway, horrible, horrible look of it, and I don't know. Let me see what I can do. I don't know if I can get you guys like a clear picture on this. Right now, my phone doesn't look like it's very clear, so you guys may not be able to see. Maybe look really bad. Can you guys see that? I don't know if the angle's good. I go back, go in. You can see that the knee right there. I think you guys can see it. It looks horrible. Yeah, that doesn't look normal. Doesn't look normal at all. Really bad. So there's another different angle. Can you guys see it popping out? So, oh my goodness. Yeah, it sucks. So what do we do, guys? What do we do? It's frustrating, but a lot of jujitsu schools, they train on their knees. They don't do takedowns. If you guys watched, John Danaher had a video not long ago where he talked about the worst injuries happening from falling, like takedowns, gravity, and he's really correct in that. This particular one, I don't think was from that. I think he was still on his feet when it happened. He just basically it snapped and he hit the deck, but he was on his feet, and he obviously did something. Something was weird. Um, yeah, I don't know if he was military. I assume so, but I don't know. Yeah, the guy was pretty strong. Guy was not like a weak individual. He's a pretty big, strong guy. Um, he definitely looked fit. I mean, he was older. He's for like 42 years old, I believe. Um, Terrible situation. Um, so what I was saying was, jujitsu schools like to start on their knees for safety reasons, guys. A lot of times, part of it's also because they just don't have takedown skills. I'll be honest. Come on, let's be honest. A lot of the jujitsu instructors out there just they're good on the ground, so they're not going to teach takedowns. But the other part of it is they want to be safe, and I recognize that. And but it's something that I didn't want to. I got people messaging me right now. um. Anyway, uh, I have not gone in, and I'm gonna continue to do takedowns, guys. Takedowns are so important. If you don't train takedowns, it's gonna be real tough for you. You don't grappling involves takedowns and groundwork, and we've got to work it. But I can't help but feel like, oh look, Gino's in the chat, guys. The guy that did the bad. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay, Gino. He says he feels bad. Literally, don't know what happened. Tried to pummel, and he just fell down. And I was like, why did he just fall? And then I realized he was injured. So yeah. So it's okay, Gino. Um, don't worry, dude. It happens. It was an accident, kind of a freak accident. So yeah, getting to the point, we have to work on takedowns. You can't just do groundwork. You're not going to be a complete grappler if you don't work on your takedowns, guys. Don't be afraid. I know that stuff like this happens, and it's definitely making me think. But you know what it makes me think is that maybe I just need to um, vet everyone that's on the mat, make sure that everyone is capable of doing certain drills. As instructors, I think we need to definitely watch over, keep an eye on everyone, watch how they're moving. And I yell at my guys quite a bit. Like, even this morning I was yelling at Eli He's not in here, but yet. But I was yelling at Eli because he was going with a we had a brand new guy this morning, and he went with a brand new guy. He didn't hurt the guy at all, but he did a neck crank. And I kind of warned him, like, why are you doing neck cranks? Like, just do something else. Do something, because the other guy's on his first time. I mean, he's trained before. The other guy, he was a big dude and he was experienced, but I was like, we don't have to hurt anybody. Don't be too excited. Be relaxed when you guys train. Don't don't be relaxed where you get hurt, but don't be so tense that you snap your pull your muscles and snap tendons, and because you're freaking out. And I think possibly there was a little bit of that going on. That the guy was probably nervous because he was on his first time in a while. He'd been off the mat for quite a while, over a year, and he probably just tensed up at the wrong moment and pulled really hard and did some movement that he's probably not that familiar with, and he hurt himself. So anyway, so what's Alba says, what's the best way to avoid these freak accidents? Guys, we have to be in control of our bodies. I know it's hard, and we also have to take it down a notch. Hard training needs to happen for the guys that are fighting in the UFC, but when you guys are just trying to learn martial arts, training isn't the place to get hurt, guys. Injuries will come. It's never going to go away completely, but it's you have to go easy. You have to learn. You have to know where your limits are of your own body. Lorenzo says emphasis on breaking falls. That's definitely important. Huge. You got to know how to break falls. Judo spends a lot of time on that. Wrestling spends less. I always try to emphasize taking each other down with care, so that even if a guy doesn't know how to fall properly, he should never injure himself. You should never bring your opponent down hard enough to hurt them. Again, in this case, this was not a fall. This was a ruptured patella tendon, evidently on his feet. He did some kind of push the mat and twisted. So I don't even know how this happened, but it happened. Alba says, try to stay conscious about my entire body while grappling. That's so true. So, we got the Khabib people coming in. Consider movement screen. Let me see. Okay, there's so many questions now coming in. So, guys, before I answer any other questions, I'm going to answer other questions too. But let's try to not add so many questions right now, guys, if you can. Let's just try to talk about this again. I just want to spend some decent amount of time talking about safety, guys. Safety first. Looking out for our training partners. Don't try to take each other down so hard. Be aware of the limbs. Know how the body works. One issue that I have with takedowns when people are inexperienced is one guy will step past another guy, for example, like in a Sotogari. But when they step a Sotogari, which is like outside reaping, they take their leg across. My right leg would step across my opponent's right leg. Instead of sweeping out the leg, they plant their foot on the mat. And when they plant their foot on the mat in a Sotogari, and then they force their opponent over their opponent's right leg, a lot of times their right foot can get stuck in the mat. And, it can be bad and tear their knee. Situations like that, you got to be aware and not throw your partner over their legs. Like, I know that you're supposed to be taking them down, but they sometimes can get stuck. So you have to make sure that when you're doing things, you are taking into consideration what you're doing to your partner. It would be the same as if you lifted someone with a double leg. Yes, break falls are important, but I don't assume that my opponent knows how to break fall. I take him down with care, and So that way, no matter what, even if the guy doesn't know what he's doing or he's caught slipping in a moment, he should not get injured. This is training. It's not, we're not getting, now, if you're getting paid, if this is fight class, I totally get it. You got to train harder. My high school wrestlers are younger. They're in teenage years. They're getting ready for big competitions. They're going to go hard sometimes. And even them, I preach to them every day to go easy. But, that's a different story. But I'm talking about the adult jiu-jitsu class guys. You guys might be training for some local tournaments at best. Let's be honest. We don't want to get hurt. You don't want to have a surgery that's going to keep you out of training for over a year, you know? Or think about how much it can take you away from your job, your livelihood, your family. It affects putting food on the table. It affects so many things. So we gotta take care of our bodies, guys. I'm 41. Um, my body's definitely a little fragile. I just got back in my toe. Remember, I broke like that knuckle. This one on my big toe. It still hurts like hell. I wear wrestling shoes and I can do basic things. Right now, just started jujitsu on the mat, and I've got like bruises and scratches. I don't know. I got those little white belt bruises. I don't know if you can see any. Maybe not. Maybe I don't have them on. They're probably already fading. I can't show it. I had those little from people grabbing your arms and like squeezing. I got the white belt bruises. I haven't had those in a long time. So that's because I took time off the mat. My skin's getting all soft. But yeah, I'm a little bummed. Poor guy. Just terrible that happened, and we'll hope he can get better as soon as he can. But I know he's going to need surgery. He's going to be taken out of. His life is changing right now because of this. So, man. All right. What else can be said, man? Just be safe out there, guys, please. I don't want anything like this to happen to anyone. I hate that it happened to me at our gym. And already some people think that our gym is like rough, and we're not that rough, guys. We're a jujitsu school, wrestling school, and I'm not. We have our one guy that fights in the UFC. We have a few people that want to do amateur MMA, and we have a few people that do competition for jujitsu. But guys, we're not like hardcore at all. It's not like that. But now I would say with the average school, we're probably considered hardcore. But because we do takedowns, because we do leg locks, neck cranks, because we do all that stuff. But that we're still training safe, guys. Safety is a big priority, and just unfortunate tonight we had that really horrible situation. So I guess I got to put that to rest. So there was somebody asking about staph or skin infections. So let me address that. It's going around, guys. Let me tell you this on skin infections. Give you guys a little bit of info on that. Um, I've had lots of skin infections, guys. I've been hospitalized by staph for 5 days before my 2008 when I was on the FILA grappling world team to go to the world championships. Right after the world team trials, I placed second, and I was on the world team for FILA grappling, which is now UWW. So those that follow wrestling know what I mean. UWW is United World Wrestling. It used to be called FILA. It was basically the governing body. It's like the IBJJF for wrestling. And they were doing grappling. They started trying to get into the jiu-jitsu business. It's really kind of died out. It was a little bit bigger back then, but not much bigger. But anyway, I qualified, and then all of a sudden I got hit with an infection on my knee. And I was driving in my car and I felt it. I was already very experienced with infections. I was very familiar. I knew exactly what was going on. The second I felt it, I went, I don't know why I have this pain on my knee. And I looked, I saw a tiny little scratch, and I knew right away it was staph. So I called my doctor, and I have a buddy that trains. He was one of my brown belts, and he technically he still is. He quit jujitsu. So, Bud, shout out to you. I called him, and asked him, and he prescribed me some antibiotics. 3 hours later, I had the antibiotics, and I took them. So it took me about 3 hours to get done with my class, run to the pharmacy, get the antibiotics, and from this big of pain, the pain that I felt was that. It was that big on my knee. 3 hours later, it was this big. So the very next day, even though I was taking antibiotics, it was this big on my knee. One more, we said, let's keep going. Let's see if the antibiotics can take effect. And one more day later, and it had swarmed over my entire knee and started to sink down into my shin bone. So I immediately was admitted into the hospital ER, and I stayed in the hospital for 5 days. I continue after that. I was like, I got to get out of the hospital. I can't. There's no way I can afford this hospital bill. And I was still on IV and vancomycin, which is a very strong antibiotic that they give people for, basically resistant bacteria that is resisting Bactrim, which is what's prescribed typically for MRSA. So usually they prescribe you, not every doctor, but a lot will prescribe you two antibiotics, typically cephalexin or Keflex, and then also you have Bactrim's the name brand, I believe. The antibiotics, I can't remember. Anyway, it's basically MRSA uh, resist. It's for that bacteria. So, but it did nothing. The bacteria I had laughed at it, and it took vancomycin, and I took it through an IV drip. I would go into the hospital for an extra week, or I can't remember how long, but eventually went away. Anyway, so I have had staph, and that was not the only time. That was just the worst staph I've had. It's a good thing I didn't lose my leg. So it was moving very fast. It's dangerous, guys. Stuff's real. I've had ringworm no less than 100 times, 200 times. I don't know. Can't even count. So normally ringworm, I wipe it out immediately. It's not a big deal because I know what I'm looking at now, and I know what it feels like. I always tell people you can feel ringworm. When it's coming in, it'll be a tiny little pimple this big, and you should recognize it. Anyway, you got to keep yourself clean, but okay, it is not the mats, guys. It is the skin infections usually do not come from the mats. Everybody thinks it comes from mats. If your mats are not cleaned, then it's possible it comes from the mats. Let me tell you where ringworm and staph come from. They come from other people. It is a disease that is carried on other human beings that you participate in grappling with. So you need to make sure that your training partners are clean. That's usually the biggest issue. Everybody talks about the mats, and I keep telling them, I go, look, the mats get cleaned every day. I guarantee you could be on pristine, clean mats. If your funky training partners have diseases, you will get diseases. Doesn't matter how clean your house is. If you have a bunch of sick people in the house, you are going to get sick. So eventually it will pass on to you. So anyway, um, go to a doctor. So yeah. By the way, on the getting hurt, somebody said you got to stretch and warm up your body. True, totally valid, guys. This was not at the beginning of practice. These guys were already sweating. They were already warm. This was about 45 minutes into training. So it can happen, you know, it can happen. It's not always because the guys are cold. Who knows the factors? So, all right. Shower regularly. Yes, sir. Wear clean underwear. Yes, sir. Bleach is for cleaning. I don't think you're supposed to put it on your body. Bleach on ringworm and it's gone. Oh man. Guys, I'm not supposed to tell you this. I've heard you can put a tiny bit of bleach on ringworm and it'll go away. I'm supposed to say use the cream or go to the doctor, but it has been known to work. So anyway, um, is Dylan Dennis a real jujitsu fighter or a scrub? Guys, Dylan Dennis is really good. He's amazing. So thank you. My couch looks comfy, Leo. So Shane, the undefeated, is here. Oh my gosh. Which Shane is that? Is that the Shane that I'm beating up in a chess match? All right, anyway. Um oh my gosh, Shane Hawley is in the chat. The guy I've been wrecking in a game of chess. If any of you guys want to play me in a game of chess, we can do that. You can play Coach Brian in a game of chess. Right now I'm on Chess with Friends. If you guys have the app, go on Chess with Friends and then find me. Anyway, can Dylan Dennis beat Khabib? The short answer is no. The longer answer is probably not. Guys, anybody can get beat. Right now, the Khabib thing subject is big on my channel. A lot of you guys probably saw my Poirier Khabib breakdown, and right now, I am getting tons and tons of people who are the casual viewers of mixed martial arts, of the UFC, and I'm getting tons of messages from these guys. They're telling me that again, you can't say anything bad about Khabib. Well, in their mind, guys, I never said a word bad about Khabib. I like Khabib. So Khabib's a great fighter. He's the champ. But everyone, when I say everyone, I mean all these casual fans that are on Khabib's bandwagon, they are upset. They think that I'm trying to show the world how to beat Khabib, and I have no clue what I'm doing or saying. So it's really, really funny. I'm laughing my ass off, guys. What I want to do is I'll do another video, maybe. And it'll be a little politically incorrect if I do it, which I try to walk that line. If I were to recite to you guys all the mail that I get from the Khabib guys, uh, the guys that are on Khabib's team are saying the most hilarious shit to me, and it is funny as hell. I guarantee you, if I do a video on it, I'll get tons of views, I'm sure. But I don't want to I don't want to come across as racist or prejudiced against anybody from other countries, because a lot of these guys are from other countries, and you can tell by how they're typing the words. The English is so spotty that it makes me want to read it in their accent, or definitely a foreign accent, and it's funny as hell. But anyway, um, so Khabib is beatable, guys, but I'm not saying I'm gonna beat him. But as far as people trying to comment on whether I know what I'm talking about, no, I know what I'm talking about. I'll stand firm on that ground. I am not saying I'm going to fight Khabib. I am way smaller than him. First of all, I walk at the weight class that he fights at. He's easily 20 to 25 pounds bigger than his weight class, especially by fight time. And I wouldn't doubt that when he's not, cutting weight, he's probably even bigger. So, yeah, this is number one bullshit. Send me location. I get a lot of those. Number one bullshit. Send me location. Khabib would smash you. Try getting in the octagon with Khabib. So Any thoughts on how to get newbies to chill out when rolling? Seems dangerous. Hell yeah. Nathan Spencer. Um, you know, you've got to get them to chill. First of all, they're here. Don't go here. You go here, they're going to go here. So, one thing I take away someone's aggression is one, you can talk to them. Two, you can just come in submissive. It's like a dog. You put your head down, you come in submissive, you let them beat you. And then, I can't allow that. My ego will get hurt. Just let them beat you guys. Let them dominate you. They'll usually calm down if you just let them. And you can even talk to them. Just say, hey, dude, you're fucking tough. Compliment them. You're really strong. You're good. I just want to go easy. Guys, I know it makes you sound like a wimp, but you know what? It's not worth getting hurt if you got that aggro crazy dude. So Habib is the eagle. I love it. What do you mean beatable? So yeah. Ortega, bringing up the subject of Ortega. Guys, look, Ortega was the one that said, if I caught a guillotine like Poirier did, it would be over, or it would be a wrap. Guys, look, how would you beat Khabib? Serious. I personally think he could get beaten fairly easily. I'm being honest. If you have a high-level wrestler that won't get taken down by him, which, by the way, guys, is very possible. There are not 1,000 dudes that know MMA, but there are 1,000 wrestlers his size in the world that could beat Khabib in wrestling. I know the Khabib fans won't like to hear that. There are 1,000. I'm just making the number up. There's 1,000 guys, but they only know how to wrestle. Out of those 1,000, there are probably, just making up numbers, guys. Let's just say there's 100 out of the 1,000 that know some pretty good MMA, but it's not quite good enough. There are 10. There are 10 guys that could probably stop Khabib's takedown in the world. We don't know who they are. They know who they are. They're probably training right now. It's like when Khabib was coming up and everybody didn't know who he was. He was the man. Somebody says like Gillespie. That's a good example. Gillespie's one of those guys, dude. I mean, he's one of those dudes that could possibly beat Khabib. We don't know because they haven't fought. Now, I wouldn't doubt that it's possible for Khabib to beat him too. But what I'm saying is there are guys out there. They're out there. You just don't know who they are. And then when they pop up, everybody jumps on their bandwagon, just like everybody's jumping on Khabib's. But there are guys out there, guys. There's very rarely is the a guy who is the champion able to hold that title for a very long time. Now, Khabib is 28-0. So that's pretty crazy, right? And he's been able to do what he does. But you know what's interesting? He doesn't look unbeatable, does he? He certainly looks like he's a little bit weak in the striking area. Am I wrong? Think about it. Am I wrong? He looks like he's not the best striker in the world. So it's possible to knock him out with strikes. Is it possible to take him down? Probably not. Only, like I said, very few wrestlers out there. They could maybe have a battle with him and then maybe do the same thing to him. It's possible. Look at Tyron Woodley, guys. Guy could take everybody down. Guy could not get taken down. And then, Usman comes in there and just beats his ass, takes him down. There is a guy out there. There is an Usman out there for Khabib. I don't know him. I don't know who it is. Could be Gillespie. I don't know. Could be Ferguson. I doubt it. I don't think it's Ferguson. I think Ferguson could do really well, but I don't think he would be the guy to go out and push Khabib against a fence and take him down. But certainly, if you get another wrestler that is really good at wrestling, take an Olympic gold medalist, guys. It's not realistic, but let's just say Jordan Burroughs for the sake of argument, because everybody knows who Jordan Burroughs is. He's the most famous American wrestler right now. Um, that isn't in MMA. If you trained uh, Jordan Burroughs for 3 years in MMA and made him good enough in striking, let's just say he just like a fish to water adapted to striking. Let's just imagine, and jujitsu. It's theoretically possible that he could shut Khabib down. It's possible. Not saying that he would, but you know. So this is not to hate on Khabib. This is to give you guys a dose of reality. I mean, everybody can get beat. It's just the way it is, guys. It was. I'm so glad I had a father that taught me that when I was a kid. He said, "There's always better out there that could do it." And guys, please, the casual fans. I know all you guys that train probably know that, but the casual fans that latch on to people. I don't care if it's Khabib or John Jones or anybody else. You know, Henry Cejudo. They will all lose eventually. And yes, they are amazing. These guys are incredible. But to think that nobody can beat them and they're the best and blah, blah, blah. Mike Tyson was unbelievable when I was a kid. Mike Tyson, there's no way I thought Mike Tyson could lose. And then live, it was in Japan. I watched it live. I saw, James Buster Douglas knock out Mike Tyson. And I was so mad. I was in such denial that I wanted, I was one of those guys, I was a kid and I was like, Mike Tyson knocked him out first. They just didn't count fast enough. And I did not want to accept it. So I know what it's like to feel that way, but guys, everyone's beatable. So somebody says, but the wrestling itself changes drastically with strikes. 100%. So even Burroughs would need to relearn a bit of his wrestling. Hell yeah, you're right. So 100%. The Chischo of Thrash for life. Yes, you're 100% correct. 100%. So anyway, if he can be beaten, how is it 28? No. Well, he hasn't fought the guy that could beat him yet. But guys, that's the thing you guys don't. Let me say this about fights. Let me enlighten you guys on fights. When people fight, they usually fight once. Now, sometimes we have like a second fight, a rematch, and then you have like a trilogy, you know. But let's take most fights. You're gonna fight a guy one time. How many results do you get? You get one result. You get a win or a loss, or maybe a draw, but you get one result. Is that result the truth? Well, it is for that day. That's why we say he was a better man that day. That's what fighters say, guys. Because you can't, well, one, if you lost, you need a way to tell yourself that you can still come back. But it's true, you can't come back. Have we not seen guys come back from losses and get wins and avenge losses? Of course. So we say he was better on that night or on that day. It's one experiment. You get one result, a win or a loss or a draw. When people win fights, the casual fan says Khabib beat Poirier or Conor or whoever. And then they go, see, he's better. Let me repeat myself. He was better that day. Yes, he should be the best guy in the world. He should hold the title. I'm not disputing that. But let's not fool ourselves, guys. If you want to run an experiment properly, it's not realistic, but let's say they fight 10 times. How many fights would Khabib win against, let's just say, Poirier? Let's just make it up. Now, of course, Khabib fans will say he would win 10. But I've got news for you. He would not. It's very unlikely he would win 10. It is very likely he would lose 1 or 2. And that's if he's dominant. The fight game Anything can happen, guys. How many times have you seen a fight where a guy was winning a fight and he got caught? He got lost. Guys, that was the one fight. They fought once. And the guy that was losing wins the fight, right? So you could argue the guy who was better lost, you know, on that day. In the same way, we still on that day. Let them fight again. That's why rematches happen. So, you know, but guys, anybody who thinks 10, look at this, 10 out of 10, guys, you're crazy. You're crazy if you think that. That's like saying if Ben Askren fought Masvidal, do you think that he would get knocked out again in 5 seconds or whatever it was? No. If he fought again, I guarantee you it wouldn't. And I'm not saying Askren would win for sure. But if they fought 10 times, Askren's going to beat Masvidal more than once. He's going to get him once. Give me that. Give him once. I don't know. Maybe it'll be 6-4. Maybe it'll be 5-5. Maybe it'll be 8-2. Maybe it'll be 9-1. But it will not be 10-0. If it's 10-0, guys, the level is so much like, and I know you guys believe that. You think that Khabib is here and you think everyone else is here. It isn't like that, guys. He's such a good wrestler. He can push this guy into the fence, take him down, and wear him out. So his plans worked. But I guarantee you, some of these guys, eventually, if he does the experiment now, everybody's like 28. Guys, a lot of those fights, he was building his record when he's coming up. You know? He's an amazing fighter for sure. But guys, it's not like the experiment has been run 100 times. You know, it's just crazy. And then you Don Trumpet. Khabib was trained fighting wild animals. Guys, what does that have to do with anything? You know, everybody loves to point out that he wrestled a bear when he was like 9 or whatever. Serious. Wrestling bears when you're 9 does not make you the UFC champion. Okay, it just doesn't. It's his skill. It's his determination. Did the bear contribute to that? That much. I'll give him that. It helped that much. You know, propelled him that much when he was like 9 or whatever. So he might make it to 30-0, guys. I am not saying that Khabib's going to lose next fight. I'm the one that's picking him to win. I think he would beat Ferguson, but I think Ferguson could beat him. I think it's possible. And they won't fight 5 times or 10 times. But I guarantee you, if Ferguson fights Khabib and they fight 10 times, it wouldn't be healthy. But if that happened, he could get caught. Somebody just mentioned Ryan Hall. You know, Ryan Hall's a perfect example, guys. If Ryan Hall fought Khabib, it's possible. And if they fought 10 times, one of those 10, Ryan Hall's flying underneath Khabib and catching him in a leg lock. And then the next thing you hear is, oh my God, he does Sambo. Don't you know he knows Sambo? Guys, I don't care how much Sambo you know. You get on the ground with Ryan Hall and you play with leg locks, you're getting tapped. You know, nobody in the UFC is as good at leg locks as Ryan Hall. Nobody. There's nobody, guys. Nobody. Ryan Hall's the best. But you want to get on a bandwagon? Get on the Ryan Hall is the best leg lock guy in the UFC bandwagon. Get on that one. And I put all your money on that because that's the truth. So I'll go that. That's something I am sure of. All right, I'm just keep talking smack. All right. Hello from France. I love your channel. Thank you, Hugo. Do you think Ngannou has improved in his wrestling? Guys, I don't know. I was there when Ngannou knocked out Dos Santos. I was there live when it happened. I didn't get to really see any wrestling. That I recall, but I'm sure he is. Guys, all these guys are working. They're working on stuff. So they don't get to fight 10 times though. Yes, Don, 100%. They don't get to. But the point of that thought experiment is to not fall into the poor trap of thinking that one guy wins a fight, therefore he wins all the time forever. He is the greatest of all time. Let's idol worship him. That is what I'm trying to get you guys to not do. Please don't do that. Or you will be like when I was a little kid and I said, Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson. Guys, everybody can get beat. Simple as that. Khabib's the best. He's the best. He's the best in the world right now. As he has the title, that's what he is. But if you think that he's invincible, then you've been watching too many superhero movies. So he's not, he's human. So I hear James Toney has some slick leg locks in the gym. I don't know which James Toney you're talking about. Okay. How many times a week of training is too much? That's just depends on how you train, guys. You could train 7 days a week if you do it right. If you're not going crazy, you could have days that are light. You could train every day. Everybody's different. Somebody's bodies can't handle it. Dan Gable, 7 hours a day, 7 days a week in preparation for the Olympics. 7 hours a day, 7 days a week. It worked for him. Didn't have a point scored on him. And that was wrestling, the sport of wrestling, where everybody goes. That's the more dangerous one, where you could get hurt. So thank you, Don. You know what I'm saying? All right, UFC should have weigh-ins like amateur wrestling. Ooh, I think that's Sato asking that. I can't read his Japanese characters, but I think it's Sato. Yeah, it would be nice if they would have weigh-ins like amateur wrestling. Guys wouldn't be cutting so much weight. I think it would be healthier for them. But Edward Duff, hi Brian, I'm heading back to California in October. Maybe we can do another YouTube video. I'll teach the technique, give you a break. Sure. That'd be cool. So, legend has it Chuck Norris was choked out by him. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, guys, you know the Chuck Norris jokes? Now it's Habib's jokes. So, Habib's got the he's elevated himself to Chuck Norris status. So now all the stuff you attributed to Chuck Norris, now you can attribute to Khabib. So you want to see Ferguson fight him because I want to see Khabib tested. Yes, so do I. And I think Ferguson could create like just, again, I mentioned in the video, super wild kind of scrambly style. He'll do weird stuff. And I still think Khabib would probably handle it, but it would be nice to see him handle it. So anyway, what if he retires 30-0 though? Hugo Boy asks. Yeah, if he retires, then cool. He gets out of there undefeated. The point is, guys, like you could lose if you fight long enough. That's it. Mayweather's undefeated, right? That's it. Some guys get out of there. Some guys, if they fight everybody that's in their prime for as long as they can. I mean, it's very rare that you're going to have somebody undefeated if they really fight everyone. But the reality is we don't do that. See, guys, let me explain also on that subject where my thought process comes from, and also kind of like to explain more. In the sport of wrestling, people fight more. They wrestle more. They don't have fights like 3 times a year. They don't have 3 wrestling matches a year. They wrestle a lot. And when you see a guy undefeated, like Dan Gable as an example of the story, going through college undefeated, and I believe he was undefeated in high school too. Don't know about his youth, but pre-high school. I'm not a Dan Gable historian, but for the most part, undefeated, right? Going into his college career. Back then, they didn't wrestle in the freshman year, so he wins NCAA title, sophomore, junior. He's going into his senior year undefeated, and he loses his last match. Now he could have went undefeated, but he lost one. They wrestle a lot, guys, and he also lost other matches. I believe he lost to Bobby Douglas as well. But if you wrestle enough guys, you're gonna find your match. Nobody is truly undefeated. Anybody who's got a record that's undefeated, at one point in their career, they've lost. So even Mayweather, He was coming up in this world. I guarantee you he didn't win every boxing match he's ever had. Nobody's undefeated. Everybody will lose eventually. And unless you just retire before you do. And in the sport of wrestling, we know that people lose, and it's not a big deal. You know, Cael Sanderson, undefeated in college. That's what he was famous for. Undefeated. Gets into international wrestling and loses, you know? And, he didn't even beat the Americans. There's a video floating around somewhere of Les Gutches throwing him for a loop. But, everybody can get beat. It's no big deal, guys. If you fight sparingly, you might go undefeated. But if you fight everyone all the time, you're going to meet your match at some point. And the way it's just sometimes just bad luck. You may be even better than your opponent, but he's going to catch you. In the sport of wrestling, you could slip, fall on your back, and get pinned by some dude that you're way better than. If you get caught slipping, you could twist your ankle, and boom, you're out. And people, then the other side will argue you twisted your ankle because the other guy made you twist your ankle. So Khabib does not sleep with a nightlight because Khabib is afraid of the dark, but because the dark is afraid of Khabib. Guys, if Ryan Hall and Khabib were in the same weight class, Khabib would not want to go to the ground with Ryan. Yeah, I would agree with that. But it is possible for Khabib to beat Ryan Hall on the ground. It is possible. See, it goes both ways, guys. I'm very even-handed. Ryan Hall could spin under Khabib and catch him in a leg lock. If he gets him in danger, in fact, I would put money that Ryan Hall would get the leg lock if he positioned himself properly. But it's also possible for Khabib to shut it down, to control his hips, and not allow the movement, and to create some good strikes. And it's possible for him to catch Ryan Hall and knock him out, or even wear him out and eventually get on his back and crank him. I mean, I would not think that would happen. Ryan Hall's like supremely good at jiu-jitsu. There's black belts, and then there's Ryan Hall. It's definitely another level. It's like being a master of chess and then being a grandmaster, and then being a Garry Kasparov of chess. Very different. Or in this case, right now, Magnus Carlsen. So there's so many questions right now, guys. I can't do them all. The chat is moving like crazy. But wrestling looks super gay. Those bathing suits. Miss Fat Peaches. Yeah, well, if you're, homophobic, you might think that. I'm just joking. Yeah, guys, look, if you want to be disrespectful to the sport because of clothing, then maybe you need to grow up. So it's guys, they wear singlets. I know people have a hard time with it sometimes because they grow up in their own culture where they're taught that wearing tight clothing is like gay or something. Get over it. Get over it. It's not gay. So every time I do these chats, I always get some people commenting, saying some stupid shit. So I'm a blue belt, Ron says. What's up, Ron? Tapped out black belts, brown belts, purple belts, other blue belts, and I've been tapped by white belts. Yep. It happens, guys. It's possible. It's theoretically possible. Black belts get caught. They get caught by blue belts. So Ty Hatfield, what's up, dude? That's a big thing, my friend. I think he means competed all the way up to 34, and then I didn't want to compete anymore. I don't want to lose weight, and I didn't want to go to tournaments anymore. Yeah, you get older, you get hurt, and it's not so much fun anymore. It could be other reasons too. Sakuraba was awesome, but he definitely had a tougher time later in his career. Hell yeah, Leo. Poor Sakuraba was a hero of mine, you guys. I love Sakuraba so much, but man, I think he stayed in the game a little too long. But if it's that's what he wanted to do, more power to him. If he enjoyed it and he's happy with his life, I'm sure he is. And that's it. I just hope that these fighters that we care about so much don't lose too many brain cells and can have a good quality of life. So, how would Connor fare out in their second bout? Would it be a repeat of the first? It could be. Guys, I don't know the answer. You know that. I know people want to know my opinion, but guys, I'm so like what I would call fair. I will well, first of all, I don't know the answer. Second, I think that Connor could knock out Khabib easily. He's got the striking skills. He just needs to connect. Everybody saw if he hits you like he hit Jose Aldo, that's it. So um, I could easily see Khabib doing the same thing. We don't know, guys. I do when I did my other video on the Conor McGregor and Khabib fight, the breakdown, like what Conor should have done. Again, don't think that I'm saying I know how to beat Khabib. That it's about teaching the positions. I'm constantly trying to explain this to casual viewers that somehow don't understand. I know you guys that train, I hope you understand. When I do these breakdowns, guys, I'm doing this for you. I'm passing out the information for you so that you guys can learn what they are doing. Because I know for sure, like for example, why did I bring up the switch of Poirier and Khabib? I didn't bring up the switch because I thought, oh, I know the answer how to beat Khabib. I brought it up. One reason was I just posted a switch video, and then literally like 2 days later, we see two switch attempts that, if you guys are honest, you'll see that it kind of like, what was that? It kind of threw Khabib off just for a split second. Now, sure, Khabib just sucked himself right back in, but it was interesting. So it was a point where I could like teach. And then you see Poirier attempt to hip ice, miserably failed. I thought this is perfect. I could teach like what are they doing? Because I know a lot of people probably don't see anything. And the casual viewer only sees Khabib mauling another individual, in this case Poirier. Yeah, he mauled him for sure. I admit that. I'm not on anybody's side. But how did he maul him? What was he doing? How did he raise his elbow? Keeping the lock. How did he do it? These kind of things are interesting to me, and I think it's very interesting to people that want to learn. So, Shane talking about our chess match. He says it's my move. Shane, you're going to lose this match. Let me check to see if you moved. Guys, I gotta make a chess move real quick. Chess with friends. So, just want to show guys this horrible position right here. Oh, man, it's too bright. It's too bright. Let me see if I can take this down. Yeah, guys, look at that. See, poor Shane, he's white and I'm black. I mess with him so bad that when I promoted right here, I promoted to a knight. You know somebody's messing with you when they promote to a knight. Either that or they're looking for an immediate checkmate with a knight. But the point is, I promoted to a knight because I don't need a queen to beat this dude. Anyway, just making jokes. So, one more move here. Boom. I moved. It's your turn, Shane. Um, I'm a Khabib hater. Ethiopian Phenomenon says, no, I'm not a Khabib hater, guys. I'm a wrestler. So I love Khabib. Guys, Khabib is I should thank Khabib. You know why, guys? Khabib is showing the world that wrestling works. It's showing the world that it's still possible. In a world of MMA where so many people now, wrestlers, are just not taking people down anymore. You see guys, they just want to strike. I just watched a fight with um, Al Iaquinta and Cowboy Cerrone, Donald Cerrone. Al is a wrestler. Now he's learned how to box, but he doesn't wrestle in his mat fights. He tried maybe one takedown, two takedowns. That's it. You know, so in a world where wrestlers are learning how to strike and they don't want to take anybody down anymore, you've got Khabib. And Khabib is showing the world that you can still maul people. So I should thank Khabib. Thank you so much, Habib, for showing the world that wrestling works. So, you know, wrestling's a great sport. And obviously, it was my first. And it's something that I do very well. I train wrestlers. And so that's what that's what I do. So I should thank Khabib, I guess. People come to me and they want to know what Khabib's doing. I teach them. If they want to know how to stop it, I teach them. Guess what? I do the offense and the defense, guys. And when I do analysis, I'm trying to help you guys, trying to teach you guys more about the sport because there's so many MMA guys. There are wrestling and MMA guys like me, but there's very few like me. Very few. There's not a lot of guys that have a YouTube channel that are understand wrestling like I do, that have a black belt in jiu-jitsu like I do, that understand both sports really well, that are now today like never leaving either sport. Like a lot of wrestlers move on to jiu-jitsu and then 10 years later they still know they're wrestling, like they can still scrap, but they've kind of forgotten wrestling. I'm still doing it, guys. I coach. So all the time, you know. So there's not too many guys like me. So you're not gonna. So those guys that don't think I know what I'm talking about or whatever, it's like it's so silly because it's something that I do. I do all. It's I eat, sleep, breathe it. Shit, MMA, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. So it's what I do, guys. So I'm proud of myself, and I'm happy to bring you guys the information. For me, my competition days are long gone. I just want to pass on the information. It's what I want to do. I want to help people. So I do it for you guys. Obviously, I also do it for some monetary value, trying to make a buck like anybody else. But besides making a buck, I love helping people, guys. It's what I love to do. I'm super genuine in that. I'm not trying. No, don't want anybody screwed over. I want to help people. It makes me very happy to read all of the comments that I get every single day. It's so many people enjoy what I teach, and they tell me it's helping, that they're getting better. Um, I know there's a lot of people that probably just like to watch it and they're not really getting better, but they still enjoy it. Hey, that's cool too. But I want to leave behind, someday I'm going to die, and I want to leave behind my whatever I have up here because I know I'm unique and I know I have a lot of stuff. So I want you guys to have it. I want it to be out there. That way people can access it. So we're already at over an hour. This is usually the time when I start fading. I've got to get a few more things done before I hit the hay. But so I totally agree. One of the things to the girl, oh my gosh, look at the guy's wrestling defense. The thing is, it looks like the most crappiest single leg I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what you're talking about, Ty. Coach, Khabib versus Askren. What do you think? I don't think they're in the same weight class. I don't think it's fair to Khabib. Um, I will say this: Khabib probably has a little bit better stand-up than Askren. Askren's a little bit bigger. If I don't think Askren can make 55. If Khabib came up for a catch weight fight, like 65 or even 70, I still think it'd be a fun fight to watch. I'd love to see it. I do think that Askren's probably, and I hesitate to say it, but better wrestler. The thing about Askren, guys, is Askren is a different kind of wrestler. He's very different. Even among wrestlers, Askren is not a wrestler. Like, and forgive me for saying that. No disrespect to Askren because he is a wrestler. But what I'm saying is, among the typical wrestlers, they would all agree the guy who doesn't fit is Askren. He's the different kind of guy. He's a different wrestler. He's funky. He's funky Ben Askren. And the thing about that is he's the guy that could get taken down by a jiu-jitsu guy, but he will funk around and end up right back on top. He's the guy that Khabib could like take down maybe, but Askren's style is so hard to deal with. So he's different. He's very different. So he went into the Death Legacy chat. Uh, guys, uh, no, I don't worry about the whole death talk. I'm just being honest, guys. It's still true, but that is funny as hell. So thank you, Hugo Boy. He said I was amazing. Thank you. Again, I like to hear the nice stuff, but also I like the critics too. So let's see. Khabib versus GSP. I would take GSP. That's what Shane says. Yeah, that'd be a good fight too. What do you want to say? I mean, like, guys, these are all freaking hypotheticals. We don't know unless they fight. GSP's getting a little old. It's a lot bigger. I don't think GSP can make 55. Sounds ridiculous. He would be a skinny dude at 55. Even after he puts on weight after weigh-ins, he wouldn't put it all back on, and it'd be super like I don't think he can make that weight. But unless he totally restructured his body, he would have to lose tons of muscle mass. And again, that's just like what I said about Askren. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to even like talk about those fights. It's like saying who would win, Habib or Kamaru Usman. Totally different weight class. I think it's pretty obvious that Usman would beat Khabib, but it's just a different weight class, guys. And at some point, you can't keep up. I think Usman would be able to beat Khabib, but they still got to fight. If they fought 10 times, Khabib might win one of them, or a couple of them, maybe 5 of them. I don't know. I don't know, guys. So anyway, those Gilroy kids are incredible, right? DC did a great job with that program. No disrespect to DC. All the respect in the world to Gilroy. This is not a knock on DC. DC is amazing. He's a great coach, but I would like you guys to understand DC is the new coach at Gilroy. He is doing a great job, 100%. But when you say DC did a great job with that program, what it sounds like is DC gets the credit for how they did this past year. They were second in state, guys. I cannot fully say that. Here's why. All the respect to Gilroy program, guess what? They were already amazing. Gilroy was good. They've been good forever. I mean, well, maybe not forever, but man, I can't even tell you. I don't know. I don't know the year that Gilroy was bad. They've always had a solid program. So this is all the respect in the world to Gilroy. Now, DC is doing great. And I know with all of it's not just DC guys. They got other coaches. They got Coach Bunch. They got other coaches. They got a lot. And all these guys are amazing. They're all contributing. So great program to start with, coupled with great coaches of the past, coupled with new great coaches like DC and Bunch and all the others. Hey, great program. Incredible respect to all of them. But I don't want people to say, wow, DC really did a great job with that program, like he turned it around. Guys, they were a powerhouse. They've been a powerhouse. So long before DC got there, they've been a long time powerhouse. Just so you guys know, they were dominant. So let's see. Ty trying to clarify what he was saying. No, what I'm trying to say was I think a lot of times wrestling is absolutely not gay at all. I was talking to one of the guys. Oh, who said that? Yeah. Okay. You have a pain in the middle of your chest, Flying Frogger. Your rib cage slowly crushed by a guy almost double my size. What kind of damage can a chest compression submission do if you can't tap? I don't know. I think it sounds like horrible. You don't want that. Tap and don't go with that guy if you're already messed up. So Flying Frogger, I'm if I'm an expert, which it's difficult to say that because I'm not supposed to say that. Everybody else is supposed to say that. But I'll say it. I'm an expert in wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Like I know those sports pretty well. Guys, when you go outside of that and people go, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Like some things I don't know. And I'll be the first one to say, "I don't know. If you have your pain in your chest, go see a doctor." That's all I can say. Go to an expert because that's not my expertise. I've been around a long time. I've seen a lot of injuries, but can't help you there. I'm sorry. Um, that I don't know. And I know you didn't know that. I'm just stating the facts. So he wrestled for Oak Grove, 96 to 2000. Gilroy wasn't very competitive back then. Okay, 96 to 2000. But Gilroy has been a powerhouse lately. And I don't know. I mean, I would say that Gilroy probably still had a decent program. You guys were just probably way better. So it probably didn't appear like they were good, but maybe I don't know. I wasn't monitoring Gilroy. They're up there. We're in the southern section, guys. So they're way up there in Central Coast. We are we are in southern section, so we don't see Gilroy until we get to state. So Edward Duff, well said, Brian. I want to share my carpentry experience with people one day too. Let's all learn off of each other. Yeah, and I'd love to learn it. I mean, I don't do a lot of carpentry, but I do a little bit. I put up the pegboard in the gym, guys. I'd love to do a video. But the pegboard's already failing, so we're gonna have to repair it. Maybe I'll do a video. Like maybe I'll do like a what do you call it? Like an unboxing, basically like a review of our pegboard, so you guys can see what that's like. We've already had some failing, some defect in the pegboard, and maybe I'll show that. I wanted to do a video on it, but guys, it's already brand new pegboard is already damaged, which means it's just flawed the way it was made. We're gonna have to modify it. So get into that later. So okay, Sato says maybe 15 years, I think, for Gilroy. So there you go. Um, 15 years ago, uh, DC was probably still just wrestling, not even doing MMA 15 years ago. So, what do you think on the Masvidal Diaz fight? That's good. I'm gonna pick Masvidal, but Diaz, I always count that dude out, and he's amazing too. He comes back, he doesn't get tired. That guy's crazy with his cardio. But I'm gonna pick Masvidal in that fight. If you were Khabib and you beat Tony Ferguson, retire undefeated. Hey, I think so too, guys. Khabib's legacy, if he's really concerned about his legacy and he wants to have that big goose egg in his loss column, then I think he should retire. He should beat Tony and get out. I think that's awesome idea. So it'll cement his legacy. He will have shown everyone he doesn't need to do anymore. But if he keeps fighting, he eventually will lose. It's just the way the world goes. So this brings me back to chat rooms in the late 90s. That's funny. So anyway, is vaping bad for jiu-jitsu? I don't know. Sorry, skeptic. I don't vape. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do any of that shit. So I don't know if it's bad. I wouldn't say it's good. It's just a guess. So, oh, Edward Duff, you can fix my pegboard in October for free class. No problem. We got a deal. So we definitely gonna have to come up with something. We're gonna probably use some metal because the wood is failing. Anyway, all right, night coach, great stuff. I'm gonna be taking off too, guys. Next time you're up in San Jose area, stop by our school. We'd love to have you. Battle Control BJJ, awesome. That comes from Toys 408. Awesome, dude. I mean, like I'm hardly ever up there. I went up to San Jose area. I was in Gilroy, but only for a day. Actually, a day and a half because I stayed the night before. But you know, Mr. Teach Me Grappling, are you going to show some of your competitive days photos? Maybe if I had some. I keep some things. but I wish I would have kept a whole lot that I did not. Unfortunately, guys, I'm not that old, but I stopped competing 10 years ago. So it really wasn't during the Facebook era. And didn't put a lot of stuff up, and I never kept a whole lot of stuff. I do have some photos here or there, and there's a few videos you guys can find on YouTube, a few things here or there. You can see I have a loss to Zach Makovsky on YouTube. You guys can look that up. I lost by a point. It was a close match, but he won, whatever. According to the points, he won. Um, and if you guys don't know Zach, Zach's an awesome guy, really good guy. Wrestler, I believe he wrestled for Drexel, if I remember correctly, and fought in the UFC. Zach Fun Size Makovsky. So there's a grappling match with him on YouTube you can find. I have some with the one-legged monster, Matt Betzold. So I've had 3 matches with him. I think one of them is online. The one where he wins is online. I beat him the other times, and I didn't think he beat me, but whatever. Quit crying. Yeah, there's a few matches you guys can find, stuff like that. But for those that don't know me, I was on two world grappling teams for FILA, for USA Wrestling. I went to the World Championships twice. Gi no gi, placed all 4 times in the 2 years. I was 3rd in no-gi twice, and I was 2nd in the gi and 1st in the gi. So, but the gi divisions weren't very competitive, so it's not like IBJJF. So there was a black belt from Brazil. He didn't even make it. So he got hit. It was hilarious. He lost to a blue belt from Drysdale's, and then I beat that dude. But if Hulk Hogan enters MMA, it's all over. Yep. So okay. Do you believe those domestic abuse allegations against Hall of Famer Matt Hughes? Thanks. God bless. I don't know. Do you believe them? Do I believe them? Guys, belief. I have very little information. The only information is I know a lot of people that know Matt Hughes. I've met Matt Hughes. He was a nice guy. That's all I know. But a lot of people I've talked to that know him or have met him before say that he's a bad guy. I've definitely heard quite a bit of that. So that makes me believe that it might be true. But I don't know. So why comment? I don't know. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna have to take off. So learn a lot from your narrated grappling videos. Will you make more soon? Narrated rolls. Yes, Flying Frogger. I have a plan for that stuff. I want to do some more narrated rolls. I'm going to show more of me rolling also. So especially, I got to do it now, guys, before I get old. As it is right now, I'm picking my partners. I can't go with the big dudes anymore. I do go with them, but I don't do the crazy takedowns with them anymore as much. Occasionally do, and I'm playing with fire. I'm going to have a problem like a snapped patella tendon, and I don't want that to happen. So anyway, thank you guys so much. So many people on here that enjoy, and thank you so much. And I want you guys to know again, no matter how I come across to you, let me state it right here, right now. If you think that I'm a pompous asshole for the way I speak, or that I'm talking shit on Khabib or anything like that, I want you to know I'm clarifying right now. You're wrong. Okay, you're wrong. That is not me. So again, if I'm transmitting and you're receiving and it's bad, you need to understand I am the transmitter. I am trying to clarify what I'm transmitting. So if you're one of those people that receive it a certain way, maybe it's you. It's not me, guys. And so when I show techniques, I am not talking bad on Khabib. I love Khabib. He's a great fighter. I think he's amazing. I think he's going to win his next fight. I think he's the best, just like you do. But he's beatable. That's it. Argument over. And guys, I'm not the greatest in the world. I'm not. There's guys better than me at every discipline. There's better guys better than me at jujitsu. There's guys better than me at wrestling. There's guys better than me at MMA. But there's only one me that has what I have. And that's what I'm giving to you guys with Teach Me Grappling. Okay. I want that to be clear. It's not like you know, it's not an arrogance of like I know something and I can show you how to beat Khabib. It's not that. It's that I know a lot of shit and I want you guys to have it. I want to give it to you. That's it. So I hope you guys enjoy this channel so much. I love bringing you guys this stuff. I just spent an hour and 20 minutes and we had that guy get hurt tonight. I'm really sad for him. I want you guys to all train safe and be good to each other and you know, get better. And I'll be out here grinding, trying to show you guys the way. So the way that I know, and I'm changing. I'm ever evolving. I'm learning at the same time. So when I learn something this coming week, I'll be teaching you guys that stuff in the not too distant future because I'm still growing myself. Nobody knows everything, and I'm still growing. So thank you guys. Teach Me Grappling. I'll see you guys later. I'm out.